Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 to 27, the fall of Jericho. Now the people of Jericho were afraid because the Israelites were near, so they closed the city gates and guarded them. No one went into the city and no one came out. Then the Lord spoke to Joshua. He said, "Look, I have given you Jericho, its king and all its fighting men. March around the city with your army one time every day. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets made of horns from male sheep. Tell them to march in front of the Ark of the Covenant. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. On that day, tell the priests to blow the trumpets as they march. They will make one last blast on the trumpets. When you hear that sound, have all the people give a loud shout. Then the walls of the city will fall, and the people will go straight into the city." So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests together. He said to them, "Carry the Ark of the Covenant with the Lord. Tell 7 priests to carry trumpets and march in front of it." Then Joshua ordered the people, "Now go, march around the city. The soldiers with weapons should march in front of the Ark of the Covenant with the Lord." So Joshua finished speaking to the people. Then the 7 priests began marching before the Lord. They carried the 7 trumpets and blew them as they marched, the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant with the Lord following them. The soldiers with weapons marched in front of the priests, and armed men walked behind the Ark of the Covenant. They were blowing their trumpets, but Joshua had told the people not to give a war cry. He said, "Don't shout. Don't say a word until the day I tell you. Then shout." So Joshua had the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord carried around the city one time. Then they went back to the camp for the night. Early the next morning, Joshua got up, and the priests carried the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord again. The 7 priests carried the 7 trumpets. They marched in front of the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, blowing their trumpets. The soldiers with weapons marched in front of them. Other soldiers walked behind the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. All this time the priests were blowing their trumpets. So on the 2nd day they marched around the city one time. Then they went back to the camp. They did this every day for 6 days.
On the 7th day they got up at dawn. They marched around the city 7 times. They marched just as they had on the days before. But on that day they marched around the city 7 times. The 7th time around the priests blew their trumpets. Then Joshua gave the command, "Now shout! The Lord has given you the city. The city and everything in it are to be destroyed as an offering to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and everyone in her house shall remain alive. They must not be killed. This is because Rahab hid the 2 spies we sent out. Don't take any of the things that are to be destroyed as an offering to the Lord. If you take them and bring them into our camp, then yourselves will be destroyed. You also bring trouble to all of Israel. All the silver and gold things made from bronze and iron belong to the Lord. They must be saved for him." When the priests blew the trumpet, the people shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet and the people's shout, the walls fell, and everyone ran straight into the city. So the Israelites defeated that city. They completely destroyed every living thing in the city. They killed men and women, young and old. They killed cattle, sheep, and donkeys. Joshua spoke to the 2 men who had spied out the land. Joshua said, "Go into the prostitute's house, bring her out and bring out all the people who are with her. Do this because of the promise you made to her." So the 2 men went into the house and brought out Rahab. They also brought out her father, mother, brothers, and all those with her. They put her family in a safe place outside the camp of Israel. Then Israel burned down the whole city and everything in it, but they did not burn the things made from silver, gold, bronze, and iron. These were saved for the Lord. Joshua saved Rahab the prostitute, her family, and all who were with her. He let them live. This was because Rahab had helped all the men he had sent out to spy out Jericho. Rahab still lives among the Israelites today. Then Joshua made this important promise. He said, "Anyone who tries to rebuild the city of Jericho will be punished by a curse from the Lord. The man that lays the foundation of this city will lose his oldest son. The man who set up these gates will lose his youngest son." So the Lord was with Joshua, and Joshua became famous throughout all the land.